note cards. You just never know.
Ooh.
I will not leave the house without those. I'll granted my equipment too, but I know to bring that, but I know my pen and my note cards for anything.
Genius. That's really smart because you never know. Uh,
You
and
never know, really.
and another question I have, this came up from an interview I'd done before, and I haven't asked enough people about this, but do you have a tale of double stick tape?
A tale of double stick tape.
A story, I guess I get a tale story of double stick tape.
What do you mean?
So I had a female wrestler on here, and she had told me about how double stick tape kind of saved her multiple times, and how she also wished she had had it beforehand, where it did not save her. I didn't know if double stick tape ever came into your universe as to needing to use it.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So funny enough, my second Black Label show, which was in February,
Mhm.
the vest that I was wearing was a bit too
Oh,
big, and I knew and I take that, like, when I know, like, if something like that's gonna happen, I take it with me. I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't need to like do this. I'm like, I put it on. Luckily that it came in such good hands, but it's also just like so difficult to deal with. You're like, oh my God, they're
yeah.
gone. But then it also sucks if you're somewhere hot and it doesn't want to stay. And I'm just like, so it's like that's also like like a thing, especially for like the broadcasters. Like, you want to like dress nice, like you have your
Right.
own style. So I always try to make sure what I'm wearing, and I keep in mind, like, do I need to bring something with me, because I want to make sure like not it's too like out there, and like, you got to keep everything in check.
Facts. Yeah, you gotta have a lint roller and then double stick tape. You never know. Now, you are in the Northeast where it has been a hotbed for pro wrestling forever, really. Who are some talented people that you see on a regular basis that I think you feel like people should be on the lookout for?
Oh, number one, I say this anytime anybody asks me, Darius Carter. I've just mentioned him
Yeah.
before. Darius is, if you guys don't know who Darius Carter is, I suggest you look up a match of his like in ring work and his character work. Oh my God, like, it is amazing. I love him. He's so great at what he does. Like, you just have to watch a Darius Carter match. You have to watch a Darius Carter promo. Like, he is amazing. Um, as for women, there's just, oh my God. I just think of so many people when I think of this question, because I work with so many talented people, and I just wish I could say them all. Oh my God, who's a woman? Because I'm gonna mention a guy and a girl. Oh my God, there's just so many people coming up in my mind. Christina Marie is amazing. I've worked like a couple shows here and there with her. She's been killing it, man. She's really good.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, on the independent scene, I always tell people to go watch local pro wrestling, no matter where you are, because your new favorite wrestler is on that show, and they're going to be in the big time at some point.
You just know too. I feel like also as
Yeah.
broadcasters, I don't know, like, and after being around it for like so long, like you just know when you're just with somebody and how they are, and I'm just like, that person right there.
hmm Yeah, they just have that it factor, especially afterwards. Like, because the shows end late. You got to find a restaurant that may or may not be open, or an Uber Eats or whatever is happening, and just the just hanging out with them. Like you have this just charisma about you, and then like then you see what they obviously did in the ring earlier that night, and you're like, how are you like this on a regular basis? This is nuts.
I know it's insane, but it's that's the lovely part about it. You get to meet so many people from
Uh,
everywhere, and it's a fun time.
Yeah, I love the industry so much, and I can't wait to see how it grows and blooms and gets even bigger than it is now, which I don't even not even sure how that's possible at this point.
And there's just so much of it, and I love it. I love being a part of it. I always say it is my happy place. Like, I'm there, and I'm like the happiest person ever.
Same, and like you're on this cloud nine afterwards, and it's just you know you're trying to figure out how to come down from it like it is a drug, but you're like, nope, I'll just ride this out until I guess I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Oh my god, and it's always, like, that transition, like, from, like, working the weekend to then going back to your shoot job during the week,
Going back to
and
your
I'm just
regular
like,
job is the
"Oh my god."
worst.
I'm just like, I even say that, I'm like, I went from being wrestling Samira in the weekend to
Uh,
being marketing Samira during the week, 2 different people. I'm just like, oh, I'm just like, but it's still fun. I do love my shoot job, but, I love wrestling. Wrestling is my passion. I love it so much.
there is a quote that you keep your day job so it can fund your dream job until your dream job funds your life.
Oh, I love that. I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever heard that one.
Yeah. Well, you can have it. It's yours now.
A quote I always just tell people is to do what makes you happy. I know it's like cliche and so basic, but like it's like true in any aspect of your life. You have to do what makes you happy.
Mhm.
You just have to go after whatever it is.
I mean, you see so many people in life that just I mean, I'm 40 now and I have friends that are also 40 and they are just like, "Oh, I'm too old. I can't do anything," whatever. I'm just like, "Why at what point do we hit the where you just that candle that or that light that was inside you is just blowing out? Like why is that happening? Why is that a thing? You should never allow that to happen because at any age anything can happen to you."
And that's true.
Yeah.
I just like I said, like how I touched earlier in the beginning, like I knew when the time was there. I was like, if I don't do this now,
Mhm.
I probably will never know. I need to take the risk and find out. And I did it. And now I'm here.
And now I'm interviewing you about your life.
It's insane. I still think like that's all crazy to me anytime. I'm just like, oh my God.
I think it's insane when I get anybody be like, "Yeah, of course." And like, no matter what level of, whether they be, they've had a company forever and they're talking to me, or they're just won a giant championship and they're talking to me, or they're just, they've had 8 matches in the business. And I'm like, I'm fine either way because everyone has that story and it's all about that passion that they have and that they still have, obviously, because they're still doing the thing that they want to do. And like you said, if you're doing what you love, then you're not really working.
Oh, I always say that, and that's also like a cliche thing to say, like, oh, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life, and that, but it's so true. Like, in a sense, this is technically quote unquote work. It is,
Of
but like, I
course.
don't, I don't feel it. I don't like. To me, this is fun. I don't ever dread going in. I'm excited. I'm
Hmm.
always like just ready to do what I got to do. Sure, is it like sometimes you get your pre-show nerves? Of course you do, but once you get into it, you're great and you're just having the best freaking time. And you're with like a bunch of your friends and it's a
Hmm.
fun time.
Yeah, I think if you don't have nerves, that might be the time that you might want to rethink what you're doing because
Oh my
you
god.
may not be into it anymore.
Oh my god. I get nervous every time
Yeah,
before an
same.
interview, like any of my interviews, like my first, like because you're just like once you're like trying to get the roll into it. So I always get nervous before I start my interviews, but oh, I especially get real nervous before ring announcing. I'm like freaking out in the back
Oh
a little bit.
yeah.
I'm just like, oh my god, if anybody could tell you the story that was back at Black Label Pro, um, when we did the one at Squared Circle, and the first match was Matt Cardona versus Nick Nemeth, and this is
Oh
two
Jesus.
guys that I've watched on TV, and I've been following their like now on their in the independence, and I'm just like,
Hmm.
this is insane. Like, and here comes my imposter syndrome, where like I don't deserve to be here to like even bring it out to the two of them, and probably not a good idea that I'm having an energy drink beforehand because then
Oh
I'm
no,
also
you don't need it.
shaking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not good for me, and I still have it before my shows, and I'm just shaking. But all is well.
Yeah.
Um, and like I'm nervous, like especially when it comes to ringing outs, and like right before I go out, I'm nervous. Like I'm like, oh my god, and then I sit there and I realize that I know I'm gonna be fine. As soon as I walk out there and start talking, I'm just gonna be fine. But it's literally just before I go out, I'm like, oh my god, okay, all right, just like hopefully I don't fall. Hopefully I don't mess up anything. Like I'm always afraid that I'm gonna fall out of the ring or something, knowing me. But like, and it's just those pre-show jitters. But as soon as you walk out there, you're fine. I'm just like, I don't know how that makes sense at all.
That's the pro wrestling business, really. Thank you so much to Samira for being on the show. What a fun conversation. And again, if you're not checking out her YouTube channel or her social media, definitely do that because, again, you definitely want to check her out on the rise, and she will be on a TV screen very soon. So while you're doing that, make sure to follow our social media. It is Brewsers Pod. That is BREWSERSPOD on the Instagram, the Threads, and the Twitter. If you want to follow me personally, it is Rody John. That is RODIEJON. Rody John is the name on the Twitter and on Untapped. In case you want to find out what I'm drinking, maybe we can have a beer together. If you want to follow me on the Threads or the Instagram, it is official Rody John. So until next time, make sure to enjoy life, drink local, and cheers.